Q2 features and improvements, Devlog. Hi friends, I'm still TTB. Welcome back to Mechwarrior Online news. Just heard news from Matt that the new devlog is now live, and of course we're gonna watch it together, have a look at it, and see what is gonna be going on here. I'm excited for the new features. There should be some really cool quality of life improvements in there. Let's just scroll down here before we click on the video. Skilltree screenshots with high-res updates coming today. Can I zoom that for you guys a little bit? Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So what is happening here? This looks like it is being pulled apart a little bit. And also, are these total amounts of skills lowered or not? Because 35 survival seems like max, like before, right? Can I zoom even further? Okay, so these are all cooldown nodes. These are all range nodes. These are all heat gen nodes. These are all velocity nodes. I like what I'm seeing. It is basically choose what you want and don't take skill nodes that you don't want. Here is magazine capacity. This seems like they pulled it out and made it so that you can just select what you want. Interesting. Skill density, armor hardening, reinforced casing, shock thingy, AMS overload is out here. Okay. This has the potential to be very interesting. I think I like that. All right. Ah, look at that. It is backend MWO-Def05. Aha! Hexor TTB has found things. No, I haven't, but that's interesting. And you will also be able to export, of course, the skill tree still. Okay. All right. Let's go. By the way, we finally proven that MWO devs are filthy rich. They're filthy rich. Look at that. 999 million C-bills. 100 million MC. Can you imagine how many solid gold direwolves you could get from this? I still want a golden dire whale. That would make my day. Okay, moving on. Moving on. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, okay, we have all the skills. Okay, this was the firepower tree then. Let's go in deeper here. This is gonna be the survival tree. Scale density, armor hardening, reinforced casing. So once again, all pulled out. Jump jets, that's the jump jets tree, okay. Yeah, so basically it is just declogging things. Here's anchor turn as one tree, and all of that gives the same amounts of bonuses. Here's torso pitch, torso yaw, torso speed. Where's mech top speed? Here's speed tweak and kinetic. Okay, so apparently we're keeping kinetic, which is like acceleration, deceleration together with speed tweak. Okay. I wonder why the choice was made to keep those together. Because you have to invest a couple of points to get into speed tweak. Maybe they wanted to make it so that you don't get to speed tweak too easily. Because it is quite a powerful thing, right? All right. Scrolling down further. Mobility. This is still our mobility. We saw that. That one is the jump jets tree. I still don't know about the jump jets tree. I think the whole jump jets thing. Nope. I don't see anybody ever using it. Honestly, I think the whole jump jets tree needs to be reworked. Maybe less skills and more impact, so that people can actually choose to say, okay, I want to have like this big boost to my jump jets or whatnot. I don't know. Over here we have operations again. Yeah, quick ignition over here. Yep, we don't need that. Cool run is here. Heat containment is here. Okay, so that will allow us to make interesting choices. It's gonna allow us to spec our mech much better. However, the question is going to be like, how many skill points will we have to actually use them? Because it's the same amount of skill points, it's gonna be just very optimized builds that will always go for the same kind of skills, right? Okay, what do we have down here? Operations, sensors, sensor range, ECM, and what is that supposed to be? I can't read that word, unfortunately. Sensor range, ECM, and something. They're gonna be on one. Target info gathering and seismic are gonna be on one. So having ECM and seismic is not going to be able to be selected directly. Okay. Difficult. That is difficult. Like basically, if you want ECM, you will have to take sensor range. I'm not too happy about that. But he had to take some of that beforehand anyways. So maybe it's going to be the same skill point investments. Here is a target retention down here. Target decay over here. That's advanced zoom, just going to be 1 skill point. And then operations basically stays the same. Capture assist and enhanced narc has been moved out apparently. Okay. All right. Well, so much for that. Let's go ahead and watch what's up. Go full screen. I said go full screen. No? Okay, go to YouTube. Yeah. There we go.
Greetings, Mechwarriors. Welcome to a devlog, one of a few devlogs this week. Well, I should say, hopefully this week. We're having a bit of trouble getting these out, but we wanted to get these information to you guys as soon as possible. As you may notice, Darren's not here with me. Instead, I have Mark. Say hi, Mark.
Hello.
Hi, Mark.
I'm filling in for Darren today.
Yes, and it's actually really exciting that you are, because we have some really cool stuff to show them. So do you want to just fill them in on what we're going to look at, Mark?
Yeah.
By the way, guys, this is live reaction from me. I haven't seen this before. I don't know exactly what we're going to see. So we're doing this one live.
We're looking at the update to the quirks and skills in the mech lab that are going to be color coded. So you'll actually be able to figure out what each thing is in that list. We're going to be looking at the skill tree reconfigured, and we're going to be looking at the event queue.
My baby.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that why waste any time, right? Let's just jump right into it. So with that, I'm going to click the scene change. Boom. There we are. So I guess there's one more preface that we should do, which is that everything is work in progress. We are in the process of getting these things finished and put in and tested. The other thing is that the screen itself is displaying in 720p. That's simply because I'm using it on remote desktop and playing through my computer at home. Let's take a look, Mark.
Yeah.
I just moused over the adder here, and this is what you see. Describe what we're seeing, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got it color coded now. What does? Dakar is in Dakar purple. Lasers are in laser yellow. So I'm guessing missiles will be in green. What I would recommend PGI does right here is I would recommend to try and I don't know how hard that is to do. Dev work is always when you're working with developers, and I've worked with developers in the past in a capacity as a director of marketing for a company. You think something should be super easy to fix, and the developer tells you, yeah, that's going to take 2 guys 2 weeks to actually do. So my suggestion would be to group these together and pull them outside. So you have your block with, these are your quirks, and then you have your block with, these are your skill tree bonuses. That way, I think they will be even better. On the other side of things, if you group them together, that might also have value. But right now it seems to be a little bit all over the place, because you've got UX jump chance up here and ballistic cooldown up here, but then you have the machine guns down there. Then you've got energy range up here, and then the laser duration, which is linked to, or that's also influenced by that. It's kind of all over the place, right? You got energy range here, you got range here, you got the velocity here. I would think the best way to do this is actually to split them apart visually. Quirks first, and then your skill tree bonus. Because your skill tree bonus is something that you can always see, right? That's you just go to the skill tree and you can have a look in detail, and you see the quirks first.
Yeah, we got all our quirks and in color. You can see all the base armors in blue, all the ballistic stuff's in purple, lasers are in yellow, the same way you would see them in a lot of the other color-coded stuff in the game.
Which is a smart thing to do.
The mech lab, all the lasers are in that yellow category. They're now yellow here. Show them the next part.
Missiles are in green. See, told you.
Hit that button I didn't know was here for several years.
The even cooler view.
I did spend several years not knowing that button even existed. as a player, and then also as a developer for so long.
Expand and collapse
yeah.
full mech details.
Yeah, people weren't using that as much because the way that the information was displayed was just I want to say a happy potpourri of like 1970s free love, all together and all through and all just mixed. Okay, so now we can see some grouping. Now we can see grouping by firepower, survival, operations, and sensors. So this is now grouped by skills. I think this display makes sense. I would still like to have the quirks separate. I think the quirks should just be separate. I mean, this is just me personally, but if I build a mech, if I sit down to build a mech, guys, I take a look at the quirks and then I go like, what kind of hardpoints does this mech have? And do the quirks actually elevate some of these hardpoints enough that I really want to build for those quirks? So I would like the quirks to be displayed separately. I think that would be better. I understand the logic behind this, because you're grouping everything together, grouping all the bonuses together, but it is still, you still have the quirks and the bonuses in the same area. So while this is a little bit better than before, I would really recommend just to have the quirks completely separate. The color coding is absolutely fine, no issues there. I think that's a good idea. I would just put them separate.
If you didn't know about it, then you learned it here first. Thanks, Mark.
And now they're actually organized into groups based on the categories of the skill tree system.
So bonus shows your chassis, C-bill, and XP bonus. This is a hero with a set of 8 quirk that gives it a 2.5% XP bonus. Firepower, survival, operations, and sensors. These lists will grow, and I think we're looking at, Mark, adding a few more color codes.
Yes, I think we are talking about that. So that'll probably be coming shortly. It's not in this build yet.
The idea,
like if you look at the screen again, guys, I think it would be a lot cleaner if the quirks themselves are separate from the skill enhancements. Or are all of these quirks right now? Maybe I'm misunderstanding this. No, these are not all quirks, right? Nah, that's advanced zoom here. No, I'm not misunderstanding this. Yeah. So my earlier point stands. I think it would be best to just have quirks and then enhancements and have them separate. At least in this quick view, because in this quick view, that's the view that most people use to check for enhancements, right? And then maybe you can have like then the other side of things where you bring up like the mech details from the lower right hand of the screen. Maybe that is then grouped by how the skill tree is organized. That could be a nice compromise there, but I would really like this to be separate.
Being that if it's a certain color on the skill tree, it should be a certain color in the quirk display as well. We'll try and match it up with the mech lab as much as possible as well. So that's a preview of all of the quirk color coding as it stands right now. Let's take a look at the skill tree.
Oh, you've already got some set up on this guy because we've been working with it for half the day.
Yes. So
okay,
I think we'll just continue on anyways. But this is your first look at the complete reconfiguration of the skill tree.
Hang on, let me just check something here real quick.
Is
okay, so it's still going to be 91 skill nodes per mech. That's what I wanted to check. It's still going to be 91 skill modes per mech.
Okay.
I think we'll just continue on anyways. But this is your first look at the complete reconfiguration of the skill tree. What used to be a spider web has now become a very discrete set of paths for skilling up your mech.
Yes, and it does away with a lot of the needing to get a bunch of stuff to get one of the things you want at the end, or trying to pick and choose how to navigate through it.
But not everything, as we've seen with ECM and as we've seen with Seismic.
And we collaborated with the Cauldron with this. They presented a really simplified design. But one of the key reasons we decided to keep this exact same number of nodes is that we didn't want to create a huge process of us refunding, doing some form of conversion on your XP and skills, then collapsing the skill trees, and you having to go back and reskill mechs of a new skill.
It's also going to be easier for them to handle it internally, right? If the skill trees stay basically the same, if the values stay basically the same, the only thing you're doing is you're decluttering it, but you're not touching the game balance too much. So I think that's the right choice here. And ultimately, if the skill tree numbers, if I can understand shrinking down the skill tree, which would make sense. Every single point then gets more value, gets more emphasis. But on the other side of things, like if this is done more easily, more quickly, let's just do it like that, right?
Skill system. Goal of this system is to make it easier for new players to understand, for existing players to get the skills that they want and set up the mechs the way that they want, and as well to make it part of the mech customization loop. Now, if you want advanced zoom on a mech, you just go in and you get it.
So
I'm curious whether they're going to touch on the seismic and ECM and radar thing, and what the reasoning behind that is going to be.
There's going to be no refund. This is just the new system will land, and all your existing mechs will still work the way they are. You don't have to rework any of your skills. It just happens.
It will just look different, basically.
So the one caveat to that may be that if you have unlocked range all the way up to 10, but you omitted, because of the path you took in the current skill tree, you didn't have range 4, 5, or 6, you would have to then buy those once you started adjusting your skill tree. But until that time that you go into the skill tree and start making changes, your mech will just work as is.
That's fine.
There'll be no change in performance from your previous existing skill tree.
And this reduces the number of clicks as well, right?
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite things about this is, let's show on a purely locked one here.
Let me guess, you just click on it and there's just
you would
one
go
click?
in and click each one along the path.
Yes.
But now, if I wanted to max out hard break and I had the skill points for it, I just click on the last one.
Yes.
I've equipped all of them. I can apply the
This
changes.
finger thanks you.
7 skill nodes, saving, done.
Nice.
Excellent.
And the reverse works for unequipping. I can click on the top one, they're all unequipped, save, okay, done.
So we still have 91 nodes, but we end up with way less clicks if you know which sections you just want to level.
Yes. And I'm hoping that it creates a lot more experimentation, feedback into something you do in the mech lab, going, oh, I've done this in the mech lab now, I've changed my loadout, I totally want to go and make this really fast mech, so I want to focus on mobility. There are a few nodes that the Cauldron did want us to kind of put behind some other nodes. In particular, those nodes were consumable slots.
Yeah. Well, also some of those extra features in that tree only work if you actually buy certain consumable slots as well. So that makes sense.
Yeah. As well in the sensor range, ECM and radar. Obviously the ECM isn't on this mech, otherwise that would be equipable, but radar deprivation being a high value node, but at the end of the sensor range tree. So if I click on this, I can access this one, this one, this one, this one, and I've maxed.
See, this is the thing that I don't really understand, and that would be interesting to hear the Cauldron's reasoning on, but radar deprivation, like if you have ECM on your mech, radar deprivation is not going to be as important. So I think enhanced ECM should just be 2 buttons, or literally just 2 skill points. I think maybe they were like, well, if we don't do that, then getting the full power of ECM is just gonna be too cheap. That might be the reasoning behind it. You get it too easily, but I liked the fact that ECM also came with seismic, right? And now that they're pulling this apart, it means that you will probably have to put in the same amount of skill points than you had before to get seismic 1 and 2 and ECM. So maybe they just wanted to preserve, quote unquote, the balance.
Out that tree. very easily.
Yeah, so if you want to get full seismic, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if you want to get enhanced ECM, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 15 skill points. 15 skill points, eh? Let's see. That might be the same here as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So actually save 1 skill point. Okay, interesting. You save 1 skill point and you get more radar drip. Okay. All right. I rest my case. So again, it would be nice to just be able to select it directly, especially enhanced ECM 1 and 2. If you have an ECM mech, not choosing this is just suicide. Basically, your mech will perform a lot worse. So I think at least enhanced ECM, I don't know. I think the worry is just that you could put these other skill points then into things like more armor, more structure, better cooling and whatnot, and you would kind of shift the balance too far. I think that's the thought process here.
Seismic Sensor is another one that's placed at the end of a target info gathering chain. And as well...
So seismic with target info gathering, by the way, is kind of interesting because that means that you will see enemy mech weak points and damage spots a little bit faster if you take seismic. And you guys know me, I'm a sucker for hitting weak spots on mechs, so I kind of like that.
Under kinetic burst and speed tweak is at the end of these kinetic burst chains. But again, really easy to max out your tree.
And way less.
I mean, speed tweak and kinetic burst, if I think about it, it actually makes sense. Because not only are you increasing your top speed, you're also increasing your responsiveness to accelerating and decelerating. Actually, no, just accelerating. Heartbreak is over here, just accelerating. But yeah, you're increasing the speed and also the way and how you get your top speed, and you don't have to get like anchor turn and torso speed anymore.
Way less expense to still get it. It's now only a little bit.
Yeah, you can omit
exactly,
any of these torso list.
Yeah, 12 points to get all your speed tweak. And you're getting just kinetic burst, a thing you probably want anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, if you saw it, AMS overload, 2 Skilltree nodes. If you take an AMS mech, you will, please guys, always take AMS overload. It just powers up your AMS so much more. For reference, watch my anti-missile guide.
So yeah, that is the new skill tree. What I'm going to do is, when we put up this devlog, is I'm going to get a screenshot of each section. But I'm going to take a short break, Mark, and then when we come...
Jump jets is the 1 point. Like, there's a couple of like skill tree nodes that are a little bit... It's a little bit weird to me. I still feel the jump jet tree is not doing enough. And it needs to do more. I would love, like, here's the thing. In my head, like if I play a Highlander, for example, with a fully maxed jump jet tree, I want to see this thing soar through the air fast, right? Would be interesting if that can happen. Like, you could get the thrust high enough. But so far, I've never found any use for the jump jet tree, to be honest. Okay, well, I don't play light jump jetty mechs and whatnot, but I've not found much use for the jump jet tree. I just think the other skill nodes are just such more valuable that jump jets is really like, it's the ugly stepchild of the skill tree.
Come back and take a look at the event queue.
Yes.
Awesome.
Excited for that.
This is something I've been championing at the company for a long time, and it is event queue. And you'll notice up here at the top, Mark, look at this. Quick play, faction play, event queue.
There's the event queue.
So this is your first look.
You've been championing this.
Some long event queue description goes here. So it shows you allowed mechs, mech tech, mech type, because they could make inner sphere only. Like there could be like a 4v4 mode, for example, that is inner sphere stock loadouts only. Maybe I don't know, but this could keep. Like here's the thing: in order to keep a game fresh, you need to do a lot of things, right? You need to provide new content. You need to provide new ways to utilize existing content. That's where the event queue comes in. And then on top of that, you can keep developing the game, making changes to the game, changing the meta around, because it keeps games fresh. That's the reason why games like League of Legends have been so successful and are still so successful, right? So this is good to see.
For like 3 years now, and it's exciting to finally see it.
It better be a success.
Mark just said we could make a mode that is just making Highlanders soar. Yep. And if you can then also add a mode where light mechs walking into assault mechs break their legs instantly, and maybe add death from above damage, we can do some decent Highlander burials. Okay, so what I'm reading from this though, Mark, is that these events can be like serious fun, or they can be stupid fun. That could be interesting. That will definitely be interesting. I like that.
I'm gonna get fired.
Event queue warning about having to have the region. Okay, so you could also do events based on region. So NA could have a different region event than in A. I don't think that's going to be happening though, right? I don't think that would be a good thing regarding the player numbers. Maybe you have to just have regions selected. I mean, work in progress, so we don't know what's going on there.
I think it'll be good. I think everyone's going to love it. So this is the first look at the event queue window. First of all, the title of the event will go up here. So I've jokingly said things like Irby Derby in the past, or
Sign me up!
Scout Lance mode, whatever we've...
Hey, Matt. Every mech I'm playing is a Steiner Scout.
Decided to name the event. It'll be up at the top. The time remaining will let you know how long you have to drop in that mode. This area will be restricted to the kind of the description, so it'll talk about what mode, what map.
So event queue is also, as far as I understood, gonna be combined with in-game events, right? So you could have normal in-game events, or like a normal in-game event, like a grab bag thingy going on or whatever, or a new mech event going on, and then there could be event queue that also has some goals where you could also get some stuff. Not all the time, maybe, but sometimes.
What modifiers we may have, and then over on the side here we also have a list of mechs allowed. Going to be anything from all mechs allowed.
Okay.
Allowed, faction like IS or clans, weight class, chassis type, so like atlases, all the way down to the variant.
Okay, so we're going to be able to have a set mode. My understanding is we're only able to select one map and mode per event, so people will be able to know what map and what mode they're going into for the event, which means you can bring a mech that's designed for that and plan around that better. We'll be able to choose.
So, again, guys, like, good to hear. Like, the guys at PGI know the pain points that players have. They're reading the feedback. That's a good thing, because how many times have we talked about dropping in the wrong map, in the wrong mech for the wrong map, right? In quick play. So knowing beforehand and this being limited to one map, I think is a really good thing.
Choose a selection of mechs or any mech depending on what the event is. We're going to have some modifiers that will be able to play around with things. People might remember long ago when Paul and Tina were running some stuff and Paul was doing live edits to server settings and changing things on people, lowering the gravity, upping missile spread. Those are some of the things that we're not looking to make everything silly. We want to try and have something that feels fun, but we're still looking at what we could put as an initial set of modifiers for this system. So Matt, tell me about this drop deck.
Initial set of modifiers. Classic 8v8, no groups. Classic maps. Classic tech, no. By the way, guys, if you're looking at this, if I don't forget it, I'm going to put a link in the video description. It's going to be a link to a 2012 match in an atlas on good old, what was it called? First Colony Classic with the original Predator vision.
Yeah, so
there's one mech here, but there's 4 slots.
Yeah, so if right now the mode is set to something that is a single mech drop, so like a traditional assault mode, but if we had a faction play mode where you required a drop deck, each one of these slots would be available, and you. Now, what's really interesting about this is it's not a drop deck from anywhere else. This is exclusive to the event queue, so it's just like a 1 to 4 mechs that you've selected to drop in the event queue in. And as well, when you click on this, you select your mechs for the event.
They're going to be pre-filtered, right?
This entire screen is filtered by what is allowed to go into the event queue. So you can apply these additional filters that will never show you a mech in this screen that you can't take into the event.
Nice.
Okay.
So naturally, here comes the follow-up. And again, like I'm sure this is in the heads over at the MWO team already as well. But how difficult would it be to have something like that in quick play? Very restricted. So let's say, for example, you're dropping in a Fafnir. And you're joining into the game. And you could select like 2, 3, or 4, whatever the system is, mech models. 4 Fafnir models that you're dropping in. One Fafnir is your brawler, one is your like Dakar mech, one is your like long range sniper, whatever. And then you could select from these, depending on which map you get. How cool would that be? Because the mech selection process, the drop decks are already in the game for faction play, right? If those were available in quick play, so you could actually make last minute changes, so you don't end up in your 300 meters SRM mech on Alpine Peaks, that would also alleviate a lot of the issues with the quick play queue. So if we could have that in quick play, that would be awesome.
And for groups?
Oh, yes. So in the group menu, group type, switch from quick play to event queue.
Okay.
There. And then as well, access it through this button up here, and select your mechs filtered by the event queue as well.
Cool. I'm so excited for this. It's gonna bring a lot of the ability to try interesting things and just stop some of the game from being stale. And at the same time, quick play will still be there.
Yeah, in the past weekend, Mark, I made the Foolish Things to Do an MWO event, and this queue will...
Matt, I don't know if you read it on the forums, but I did the event before the changes came in. I did the 5,000 each. I actually made the comment that I am about to open a pet store. I got so many corgis now. I only got 3 corgis though. Even though I did 5 times the work! I need more dogs.
Will now become my Foolish Things to Do in the event queue, and I won't bug people if people don't like what's happening in the event queue. They can definitely stick to quick play, and those rule sets won't change. So, yeah.
I'm super excited for it. I can't wait.
Yeah, and we've left out a few details here and there that we're going to probably share in the future. Example, Mark, like we forgot to mention we're actually reducing the cost of acquiring skill points.
Yes.
That's nice.
Forgot to mention that in the group or the event queue, you're going to be able to have.
So cost of acquiring skill points or cost of acquiring skill points lowered is going to be really nice for people that don't play much. That's a good move.
Groups of specific sizes, the number of players from 1v1 all the way up to 12v12, and also say groups are allowed in event queue or no groups in event queue, or even further to that, you can say groups only in event queue. There's a lot more
groups only in event queue. But that would not. For a second, my mind was like, oh, so that means that there will be no groups in quickplay. No, it's not going to be touched by that. A man can dream, right?
More details that we'll be coming out with as we get closer to completion of this feature. We wanted to let you guys know what it is we're working on, what it is we were putting on the roadmap, and so you guys can look forward to it.
Cool. Can't wait. Excited for it.
And I think you're going to be joining us for another devlog tomorrow, Mark.
Yes.
Talk about
Mechs.
X.
Mechs.
Awesome.
Keeping you rolling in mechs.
Yeah. Cool. So that's
If your mech is rolling, your mech's doing something wrong.
it for this devlog. I hope you guys enjoyed the preview. Give us your feedback in the forum threads. We'll be reading them, checking them out. We'll try and keep you guys up to date as we progress and when this feature is going to land. Right now it's looking like May, but until then, we'll just keep sharing the information. Until next time, Mechwarrior. Bye from me. Bye from Mark.
All right. Matt and Mark, thank you so much for this presentation. A lot of cool things in there. Like I said, for the color coding, for the separating of quirks from the skill tree bonuses, I like that. I would just say that outside of the mech stats area, I think if you organize mech stats like this by skill tree, basically, it's fine. But outside of the mech stats, if I just mouse over a mech and quickly see the stats that are available, I personally would like these to be separate. I would like to see the quirks separate from the normal enhancements that you get through the skill tree. That's the number one thing that I would like to see here. I would like to see them visually separate. Enhancements, quirks, skill tree stuff. Maybe even with a line break in between. That would be really, really nice.
Stuff.
So looking forward to that. Skill tree declogging, that's going to be interesting. It might change some skill trees. Absolutely. I will have to do a new skill tree guide, of course, but that's not a problem. I'm looking forward to that. And we'll just see how the whole thing works out. I still think that the whole jump jet tree, even with the cauldron input and everything so far, this is just my personal opinion. It hasn't gone to a point where I think it's viable. So I'm still hoping that we will see some stuff here with that jump jet tree, or maybe have it more condensed. Like, I honestly think that not many people are going to are using this. So maybe making this a lot stronger wouldn't even change the balance too much. Well, other than that, we also had a look at the event queue, and this sounds good. I mean, it's more stuff to do in the game that has different rule sets, that focuses on different stuff. So I'm kind of liking that. What would I still like to see for the game? Cockpit kill indicators, damage taken, or percent mech health damage taken, i.e., did somebody die with 90% of their mech intact, or did somebody die with 10% of their mech intact? Those are two different things that aren't shown right now, that differentiate very poor players from very, very good players, and also should be something that maybe goes into match score. So that's something I would like to see, because it's not only how much damage do you deal, it's also how much armor and health do you share with your team before you go down. Map improvements. Francois is working on new maps, which is really nice. The last map that he did, again, good one. Minor issues there, but overall, good map. Old maps still need improvements big time. HPG manifold, snags on the ground, invisible walls, spawn points that are just atrocious on maps like not Rubrata Aces, the other one, the desert map, which name I always forget. So that, I hope, will also get some work. And then, well, what else? I'm gonna come up with a whole list of things that I would also like to see, but again, it's development in the right direction. So I think we as MWO players can be happy for that. and can look forward to when this thing finally hits. What are your thoughts? Put them down in the video comments below. And guys, if you want to support me, you can either check out the join button right here on YouTube to become a channel member, get some exclusive rewards, or check out the various options in the video description below. This has been TTB. Hope this video was entertaining and helpful to you. Get involved in the discussion, and have a great day.